And hello everybody, this is Gamer with Opinions, Dentatus from War Alliance on 119. So today, this is the second video. This video will be on talents, both military and production. This is a special request from Crupple, member of the War Alliance on 119. So shout out to Crupple. Alright, so I'll come back on the production mode because some people did not get exactly how it works, and since I've been asked to do a graphical demonstration of this, I'm probably going to reset the talent and spend some gems, although right now I should not because of the gems, but because I am gathering the stuff for level 30, so I'll try to avoid it. If I can't, well, I'll just reset and reset again. Alright, so your talents, they are configurable at will in this tree, which means the Lord's Talent tree. You can pay a fee of 200 gems to be able to reset them. So that's, let's say, at will, of course, for a fee. The thing is that at certain moments in the game, you really want to switch your talents. We're going to focus more onto the specific talents, it seems, because some people didn't get quite the way to configure for the production, and then we'll go into the military. So anyways, production first. So production, when you go, depending on the number of points, of course, you have available at the time. We'll go step by step, right? So we have the choice of massive construction, which gives us a boost on speed of construction, and we have big yields, which gives me the resource production boost. Most of the time you want the speed boost, all right, but depending later in the game, when you are reaching, like, you have reached 30 and you're going for 35 and 40s, we're on the way for the T5s have very heavy requirements. So you will, so what you do then is that you select the big yield talent and farm like hell until you've got so much in your stores, that you can actually launch a few projects one after the others, so that you'll be busy for a few days with those. You switch your talents back and get the construction bonus instead. All right, so next step, you've got 3 experience for the experience of the Immortals. That's kind of cool, but it's not where you want it, right? We are resource orientated in that option. High proficiencies, increase your gathering speed. That's very nice. All right, for grain, of course. That's kind of nice, but that's late game. Grain is not something that you are very much preoccupied with at the start of the game. You have to farm it, all right, but you can farm enough. It's not the one that is the most obvious on requirement. Stone, easy peasy. That's the one you want to get in most stages. Stone is the hardest at the early stages commodity to actually keep up with. The second one is iron. Iron will be always hard to get, but at certain stages, stone is really worse. Let's say from level 1 to level 30, your stone requirements are crazy. After that, well, because of the time length, you actually do have time to gather them. Next step, Plentiful Gold. Well, you can guess what it does. And Trudge, which increases the troop load. Of course, you want the troop load, because the more they can carry, the more they can gather, and the more you can empty the tile RSS faster. Speaking of which, please, people, empty your nodes, empty your tiles. If you can't do it one shot, go back right away and finish it, because the respawn time It's kind of long sometimes, and that deprives your teammate of this respawning. Once they reach 0, they respawn at full. Understood? All right. Next, we have divine protections that will protect your gathering. This is good in wartime when you are getting attacked on your gathering tiles. All right, but right now this is not where we're at. Also, for those who do gatherings during KVK, this is one of the perfect talent that you can select. You have Divine Walker, which increases your marching speed, which is something I like in this build because the less time it takes to reach a resource tiles, the more you can send back, so on and so forth. Pleasant Surprise, double the ancient stones obtained on Fighting Gnome. Very cool. Alright, but not in that build. Leaps and Bounds. Increase Academy Technology. Yeah, I want that when I am in production mode because text is something that can be developed cheap and fast in many trees in the tech tree. So you want to have the boost there, and the research boost is the hardest to get in the game because you have to do research all through the games. Construction will stop eventually. Dragon Trainer, increase dragon upgrade speed by 2%. Kind of cool when you want to do dragon training and stuff, but dragons, there's not too many reasons actually to rush their growth. You are busy with other stuff that is more interesting to do. Yeah, it's really fun to have a big dragon, but you can wait for it to get big. Safe and sound. Troop cannot die when fighting gnomes. Super cool when you do the gnome build. Dexterity. Increase your wood gathering speed, which is what I selected because, of course, this is what I want at this stage. I have more requirement in woods than I have in iron. The next talent is well versed for the iron gathering. Later in the game, instead of wood, you pick iron because your requirement in irons, especially when producing T5 troops, is pretty heavy. Next, we've got recruit talent. Increase training speed by 10%. Again, same logic as with the academy talent. I am in production mode. Those can be done while I'm gathering the stuff. So I want to have a speed boost on those. It's time for me to catch up. Plus, I'm going to lose troops farming my machines and gnomes. So to replenish them, that's kind of cool too, Skillful in medicine. Resource scores of healing, seriously wounded, minus 2%. Kind of cool, alright? But really, you'd rather have this for now. Alright? This is a wartime talent. And it's in wartime, it's kind of hard to exploit actually because that's so many points to invest here that you don't have to invest here. Gift of Piety. Increase the crit rate of a resource prey by 5%. Super cool, but we're not there yet. We don't have enough points. Economic experts would increase the forge conversion rate, which again is kind of cool, but it's not the best to select because in gathering mode, well, you don't want to transmute anything. You're gathering what you're using, basically. And you've got the otherworldly helper. Reduce the cool time for the free summons in the All Immortal by 8 hours. Very cool indeed, but not in that mode. That can be selected later when you are, let's say, in mode in gnome fighting mode, among other things. Field Warehouse. This is one of the very good one that you want. This will increase the warehouse storage, and that's protected storage, so that's very good. Or you get the protection. This is the one I want. All right. So in wartime, this is the one I want. In gathering, in production time, this is the one I want. And the last ones, we've got Seize the Day, reduce the time of purifying the dragon chest by 10%. Again, that's kind of cool. All right, but only if you are in the gnome build and you are farming chest and you have keys for the chest as well. So you start the low time chest, and you but before you do that, you pay keys to open the big chest. You start a slow one, let your AP replenish, go back at it, get it. All right. Fully loaded, increase the troop load by 100% when gathering resources. Yeah, you want that. But that is a consumable talent. It's only twice a day, but it's really, really good. Double the load on troops on the very big nodes or tiles is really useful. You can empty them one shot, and that way there's no waste. Glorious Return doubles the reward obtained from defeating gnome units. Well, you can guess when you want to use that one. So that is the production tree. I think that now you can by yourself deduce what you would do for the gnome talent, right? Gnome talent, you select for the gnome build, you basically select everything that has to do with fighting, and so you want this. All right, you want the speed, or you might go, sorry, you don't want the speed, you want the pleasant surprise here for the gnomes. All right, you can go dragon trainer if you want, because you can do double whammy. You're farming chest, right? So you might want to accelerate your dragon while you're at it instead of accelerating your research in that mode. So I think that the rest is clear. You really want the safe and sound. Do not do intense gnome farming before having enough point for safe and sound, because it doesn't help you if you can't if you cannot farm for zero loss. All right. So I'll finish there. Right. You want so either way, well, in the gnome build, you want, of course, the skillful medicine, because you're gonna have plenty of wounded. Your troop cannot die, but they can be wounded, so you're gonna spend resources on that. So you want to reduce the cost, and so on and so forth. All right. So now we're gonna talk a bit about the military 3 talent. And I'm not going to spend the points really, because that's kind of a hassle to do it twice. And I'll be losing resources while I do it. So sorry, guys. We've got Clutch Shot, which is the immortal crit value. All right. And we've got the immortal dodge value. You always want the attack before the defense. All right, it's in these games you'd rather have a high attack rating. It's really hard. There is some build that are offensive and defensive specifically, but that will be in another video where we're gonna go into the meta game and the archetypes. So, but basically, most of the time, this is the talent you want. You want the crits on your immortal instead of having the defense. Next step, Knife Through Butter. Increase the physical attack of your immortals by 10. The rage that during battle increase the magical attacks by 10. And magical defense, increase the physical defense and magical defense of all your immortals by 5%. All right. Depending on your build, you can go magical defense, which is sometimes what I do. Or you go knife in through butter, because usually you've got more physical attack on the front row than you've got magical attack in the back row. But if you're playing 2 magical spellcasters in your back row in your formation, then rage is the one you want. All right, you'd rather boost magic over physical attack any day, but only if you got 2. Backlight, reduce marching AP. Well, you can guess that you really want that. When you are very advanced and you have extra talent points, you can actually do the gnome builds and stuff, and go and invest in military as well. But I'm showing this for mid levels to low levels character basically. Because by the time you have enough points, you should know how to play the game. Hiding fast, marching speeds increased by 10%, so very very good. All right, the marching is usually one of the best one to select. The Packlight is used more for farming than for war. All right, so when you are in gnome mode, something like that, it's very nice to reduce the AP consumption. But when you are pure war, you want your formations to be able to strike fast, come back fast. That's the key to be successful in war. Your troops do have to move fast no matter what. So that talent is usually the one selected. First strike, very very cool. Of course, it comes with a cooldown, but basically before battle deals damage equal to 5% of your maximum HP to an immortal on the back row. Especially when people are using magical spellcasters, this is a very nice way to attack a castle. Body of Steel reduces the damage taken by allied units by 10%. This is excellent to select if you are a defensive build. All right. If you are a defensive build, you are going to be garrisoned all the time because you're kind of a decoy. You have a big score and you're teleporting with an attack group in a hive, right? And you're making a strike, showing that actually you're not that strong. You're often enough using your second best formation because your first one is on the wall, and then the people come and attack you. You're garrisoned fully, and you have this little talent here that will strengthen your defense a lot. All right, because allied unit, that applies also to the garrison units. Rune. During a siege, so when you are attacked, increase damage dealt to city garrison by 5%. If you are the offensive build, this is where you might want to go. Although first strike is very good. Like I said, if you are going against people who have magical spellcasters, like double magical spellcasters, the heavy hitters usually do. Working hard, reduce territory relocation and construction time by 4%. It's kind of cool for sometimes. All right, it really depends. And their survival methods reduce troops killed by 2%, which is the one that usually you want for war, farming, etc. Relocations, really, you get scrolls, and if you have to relocate, you can wait. Last stand. Sacrifice 10% of the castle prosperity to increase the damage dealt by your units by 8%. This is extra super cool, but this is to build what we call a glass jaw cannon. That will be in the archetype video, the meta video. AIDS. Fully heals all wounded troops when your defense fails. So of course you understand that this is very precious when you are going to be attacked. Again, in the purely defensive build, you know that it's good. Rank advancement, obtain double honor after completing an attack. If you are in KVK, it is an excellent time to be selecting that talent because you are getting a really good honor. If you are in a very heavy war, it's kind of cool to do, all right? But in a very heavy war, I don't know. You know, I mean, I'd rather fully heals my troops instead when I'm attacked, all right? And my defense fail, which will probably happens 80% of the time unless I'm a defense build. So it's up to you guys, but rank advancement, PvP, you know, KVK, this is when you want to use it. Otherwise, don't. Domination, during the battle, reduce the physical and magical defense of ally by 1%. It's not a bad talent per se. This is a armor piercing talent. And you got Frighten, enemy immortal skill damage minus less 1%. This is usually the one you want because immortals are usually the blunt of the formation. They are the one dealing the most damage compared to troops. So this is usually where you want to get them having less damage in. And people like the power player, that's where they do invest heavily first in their formations. So it gives you a little counter balance. I say a little because that's 5% maximum. Sneak attack. Before the damage, the battle deals damage equal to 7.5% of maximum HP to a random enemy immortal in the back row. Again, if you are fighting magical spellcaster, that is kind of cool to use if your formation does damage in the back row. So if it has attacks that targets the back row, or if it has attacks that targets all, then that's kind of worth it. Might of Longbow. Increase the damage dealt by immortals in the back row by 10%. This is extra cool because most of the time people play archers, all right, 100-person archers. If you are a build with 100-person archers back row, which is the easiest to do on a free-to-play mode, on low budget mode, then you select that talent because that'll give them a boost that they sorely need. Archers compared to magic casters, most of the time the magic casters are really better. Shock. Before attacking a city, deals fixed damage to the wall equal to 1% of maximum durability. Only to be used really when you are attacking cities. So when your leader is telling you we're going to take that city, or if you're part of an attack group that is dedicated in taking cities in events, then this is one talent you will be investing in. If you are the one that is. All Guardian, increase immortal energy regen speed by 1%. Kinda cool. And Meerkat Guardian, increase in immortal attack speed by 1.2%, which is what I want. I'd rather have the attack speed increase because it's steady damage over damage that depends partly on how much damage I'm getting, because this is for the Immortals Rage. The Immortals Rage is partly generated by the damage the Immortal is taking. Mid-station. Before battle, grants a random Immortal in the front row full energy. So that means he starts with a special attack right away. Kind of very cool. Especially if you have someone really strong on the front row. X station, increase the energy regen speed of 2 random immortals by 30%. This is not negligible at all because your special attack will come faster and more often. Energy burst, increase the energy regen speed of immortal by 10. Kind of cool. Honestly, among those three, I prefer the X station, but it's up to you guys depending on what you do. There are specific uses for those in a specific archetype, which will be discussed in the meta video or archetype video if you prefer. For those who are not familiar with the term meta, it is what is played at the time. What is usually played at the time by the consensus of players determined to be as what's supposed to be best. There's always rogue building that can also actually offset some builds. You can build builds that are specifically set to target a specific element. So if you have an enemy that is in lightning, there are ways, even if you are a bit weaker, to actually tweak your configurations to go and be very good against lightning. You can do it against any element, anyways. So the next one we're going to talk about is part of this. It is the academy. Might as well, since we are in talents. So in the academy, it starts with four. We have four sections: production, troops, which is the military talents, immortals, boost your immortals, and defense, boost your castle. Let's start with production. Production, first talent is speedy construction. Depending on your level of the academy, you are allowed to boost it. Of course, this is the talent you always want at max. Well, at least, anyways, you want it at max until you don't have anything to construct anymore. That's very late in the game. So now we got the collection talents for grain, wood, stone, and iron. So I always advise put more in the wood, stone, and iron, especially for the up to 30. After that, you can do specific tweaking. I'll be talking about that when I do the advanced video on castle building for high level castles. You usually want to boost these and the grain less because it's not as much of a preoccupation. At higher level, grain does become a preoccupation when you're producing troops. And there's other reasons to boost it at later stage in the game. So here, same thing. All right, those talents are specifically meant to store more in your production facilities inside your castle. So you want to boost them, all right, as much as you can, because it's actually, once you're well configured, especially when you're burning scrolls, which should be only done when you're reaching, a next level step, like the 10 step, 10, 20, 30. This is when you really want to have those scrolls going, and you want to have as much as possible developed here by that time. So same logic, lower level, you boost the mill, the quarry, and the smeltery, and less on the farms. Gold piles, that's for the very late games, and well, there are other talents. That'll be in the, of course, advanced section. So higher level castle building, because you won't reach that part of the 3 before. Next is troops. Superhuman speed, same thing as construction, right? Always to the max. Then, depending on your build, depending on the immortal you're using, you might be using double spears on the front. You might be it's very hard to do, but it's possible. You might be doing double shields on the front. Then you want to configure your talent according to this. Overall, you usually use the 4 types. So what you do is that you always make sure that your arrows are the first one to be boosted. Arrows is 50% of your army. So you want to boost them as much as possible. Then usually you boost either, you boost your front row, right? So if you have double, you invest heavily in the one that you have on the front row, and if you have split, you max the 2 and less on the other. So defense talent, same thing. You go and I'm gonna talk about that in a specific video on troops. That video will cover troops by tier and all that jazz. All right, so we're gonna start from T1 to T5 in that video. But among all the troops, bows are the one that have the lowest hit points and the lowest defense rating. They are the one that go away fast. You want to try and help them as much as possible in priority. And again, that's because you've got 50% of your field in bows, so you invest in that one first, of course. Then, as in the other section, depending on how you're configured on the front row, you boost accordingly. And you select those talents. You don't really have a choice. You need all 4 of them. It's just simple. So you get all of them. The order, well, bows, then whatever you're using front row, and the one you're not using for last. Mighty Army. Damage to garrison, always good to boost that one. Alright, if you are a war type. I do not show how to do pure farming builds. This is a war game. People that want pure farming builds, please go play Farmville. Crumbling Walls. Crumbling Walls is damage to wall. So you have the garrison, always the one to be boosted first. You always want to reduce the troops over the walls, but it's very nice to be able to destroy some walls. In a long war, it comes into play. That depletes, if he wants to rebuild them, that depletes his resources because he has lost troops and the walls and the fortifications. That's a lot of resources. So if you are targeted, if you are using targeting attack techniques on a specific castle, it could take days or massive dollars to come back from it. This that will be covered in the Advanced War Tactics and Defense Tactics video, which is coming very soon. It's going to be needed. Archer armor, same thing. All right, customers armor to withstand more violent attack. So this is where you want. This is where you're rushing in your military 3 to get to, all right? But you can't rush purely military unless you're a purely pay player. If you're a purely pay player, then by all means invest very heavily in the troops because, hey, that's what you paid for. You paid for being powerful. Invest in the proper talents. So Archer first, and then whatever you configured as your front row. I'll be getting into the configuration specific formations into another video, of course. There'll be many of those little videos because there's many to cover. So as with the other ones, you start with the most useful one for your formation and you fill up as you go. I'm gonna stop there because this is as far as you get mid-level and low-level castle. So you won't get further than this. At level 30, this is where you get. All right. So I'm gonna stop there for the troops. Immortals, same thing. All right. I'm not going to spend too much time on the Immortals. To me, this is late game. All right. So you want to boost other talents first, but this is interesting to get some points in so that your Immortals do level up faster. You can increase the bit here depending on what you want. All right, like you see, I have invested in a few talents, but I haven't focused on that because I'm growing the castle at the moment. This is not the moment to be investing heavily in this. If you are a pure pay player, well, you're not interested into experience Immortal as much per se, because hey, you have scrolls plenty to level them up because you're buying massively. But you do want to boost the other talents, but your main focus will be, of course, on the troops and the defense because you're purely a striker when you're a real pay-to-win player. A true whale, well, you'll be invested in the 4. Defense, this is somewhere you have to work, but only when you reach, I recommend working that part only when you reach 25. Because in the time between 25 and 30, those researchers are low cost. They're nice to get going while you're gathering and getting level up to level 30. They're really needed at level 30. Before that, you can deal with the damage you're taking, all right? But you've got the defended ramparts, so your wall durability is higher. That counters the other talent that destroys it, right? because it says all the talents to boost your traps. This is where you want to go. All right. Defended ramparts, of course, is very good, but this is where you want to go. You want to boost all the traps. All right. And if you know the meta on your server, what I mean by that is after a certain while, when a server starts, people are using all over the place formations because they don't know better. Then some experienced players teach the less experienced players, and then you see a lot of, let's say, fire, a lot of lightning, a lot of wind. So you see a lot of certain specific builds, and those specific builds will be using usually double formations on the front. So then you might consider targeting the traps that hurt the most on what's played in the meta. I'm not going to spend really too much time on the defense because I'm going to go deep into that when I do the archetypes, because this is where for the defensive archetype, the kind of no loss defense archetype, this is where it's done. So we're going to get into depth into that in those videos. Same thing with the troop talents, the later troop talents and immortal talents. So, but basically boost the traps equally, all right, if it's all over the place on your server. Once the meta is settled, then target specific ones. If you are playing Trap Castle as an archetype, same thing, you are going to target specific things. So that's it, and this is late game, so we're not getting into that. This video has been very long enough anyways for me. So this is it, people. Thank you very much for watching. To all my brethrens in War Alliance on 1919, I love you guys. To the new players or mid-range level players that are looking for a good home, War is expanding. War is creating multi-alliance and is aspiring to go multi-servers. So you can come and join us. You can do that by contacting either me, Dantatus, or Lothar or Dafia. Use Dafia. She is our recruiting officer. She's the one that's going to make the decision in the end anyways. So it'd be better if you go for Dafia. Until next time, please subscribe, like, share, comments. Even just to say hi, guys, in the comments. Engagement does drive the algorithm, so it helps those videos to get seen by other people. I'm not making only this for War, guys, but it would be nice if you help me boost the reach so that other people than War people can see it. So that's it, folks. Until next time, take care. It was Gamer with Opinion, then Titus, signing out.